Despite finishing 6th in the Turkish Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton expressed his dissatisfaction with his Mercedes team strategy. I'm curious as to why the driver was dissatisfied with his 5th place finish. Was it not good enough for him? Pirelli doubts Hamilton would have finished if he hadn't pitted. Keep watching today's video to stay up to date on Lewis Hamilton's meltdown after his Grand Prix race and all the latest Formula One news. Driving blind in dirty spray caused near miss with Hamilton. During the Formula One Turkish Grand Prix, Nikita Mazepin described wet circumstances as driving blind and will apologize to Lewis Hamilton for nearly causing a crash while being lapped. During the wet race at the Istanbul Park Circus, the Haas driver took the brunt of the spray flung into the air, a problem he had to face with both ahead of him and behind him when being lapped later in the race. The spray was significantly worse at the Istanbul circuit, according to Mazepin, because of the dirt flicked up from the track surface, which made visibility difficult when combined with the pre-race rain shower and resulting spray. Mazepin was going to be lapped by Hamilton on lap 28, but he stayed on the racing line through the fast-sweeping turn 11, almost colliding with Hamilton and forcing him to take evasive action. Michael Massey, the FIA race director, investigated the near collision between Mazepin and Hamilton, but decided that no further inquiry was required. Mazepin has apologized to the Mercedes driver for the incident, and he was not probed by the stewards for disobeying blue flags since he blamed dirty spray and a lack of information from his Haas team for the situation. After the race, Mazepin made a statement that read, "When you get so many cars overtaking you, lapping you actually not once but even twice, it was just a disaster. I'm happy that we managed to get away, but I'll see Lewis and I'll apologize to him." Due to the debris and residue from the track surface mingling with the water spray, Lando Norris felt the spray was worse at the Turkish track than at other circuits. Now that we've discussed some of the most relevant news in Formula One driving at this moment in time, we can now get into some more important news, like Hamilton's rage after the race in Turkey, Pirelli's doubts that he could have finished, and Alonso's apology for the near crash. Stay tuned to today's video to find out all these details and more. Hamilton fumes at team over F1 blunder. What happened? On Sunday, Mercedes driver Valtteri Bottas won the Turkish Grand Prix, reclaiming the championship lead from Max Verstappen. The Red Bull driver finished second to seize a 6-point lead in the championship over Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton, who finished 5th, and expressed dissatisfaction with the team's strategy. Sergio Perez of Red Bull finished 3rd, followed by Ferrari's Charles Leclerc in 4th. Daniel Ricciardo of Australia finished outside the points in 13th after starting from the rear of the grid after McLaren made significant changes to its chassis. Ricciardo was disappointed, claiming that his vehicle struggled with its tires throughout the race. "I think we had maybe 4 laps in the race where we had good pace, but the rest was hard," he said. "I got a bit excited because I thought maybe it'll just keep getting better and better, but it lasted 4 laps and the rear dropped away again. So the last 10 laps were a bit painful, just trying to hang on." Meanwhile, Hamilton first refused to come in for new tires, but eventually agreed to the Mercedes team's instructions, boxed 8 laps from the finish. Perez and Leclerc flew ahead, costing Hamilton 2 positions, and the Englishman expressed his displeasure over the radio. "F, man, why'd you give up that space?" Hamilton fumed over team radio. Later, an irritated Hamilton pointed out that Alpine's Esteban Ocon completed the lap with only 1 set of tires, implying that he could have stayed out longer. At the end of the race, Mercedes chief Toto Wolff defended the decision, alleging that Hamilton's delay in halting damaged his hopes of securing a podium. Pirelli doubts Hamilton could have finished without pit stop. Supplier of Formula One tires Lewis Hamilton would not have reached it to the finish of the Turkish Grand Prix on his original U set of integers, according to Pirelli. Hamilton has battled back from 11th on the grid to fight for a podium finish in the rainy Istanbul race when his major competitors chose to pit for new intermediate tires. Hamilton chose to press on, ignoring a call from his Mercedes pits to come in for a change, because the older tires were still holding up well. The plan, however, backfired as the pace of the old tires began to fade and Hamilton was forced to make a late change in the finish. He was eliminated from podium contention as a result, and he ended a disappointing 5th. Following the strategy decision, there was controversy as to whether Hamilton could have finished the race without stopping, as Alpine's Esteban Ocon did when he finished 10th. However, Mario Asolo, Pirelli's head of F1 and vehicle racing, believes Hamilton had little chance of making it that far. Looking at the tires after the race, I'd say no, or at least it was really at the limit, Isola told Sky. The wear of the tires, especially at the end of the race, meant it was running basically on the construction. It's a bit dangerous to push the boundaries like that, but I fully understand that in a race conditions, they have to maximize the result. When asked how Ocon made it, Isola speculated that tire wear was not uniform on all cars and that those that arrived late were left with tires that were past their prime. Could the Adelaide Grand Prix track be ripped up? The Adelaide Parkland circuit, which hosted Formula One for a decade, is in danger of being demolished by the municipal council. Greg Mackey, an Adelaide city councillor, is said to be supporting a residents group that wants to now defunct Parkland section of the old Adelaide circuit demolished. As the councillor seeks support for a new community and management plan for the region, Mackey claims that the Butamin turns Victoria Park into an urban heat island during the summer months. The purpose-built 1,200-meter segment of the famed circuit, which housed the pit area and was connected to city streets to construct the full layout, is located in Victoria Park. Mackey's proposal will be heard by the Adelaide City Council tomorrow night. Between 1985 and 1995, the Adelaide track hosted Formula One before being resurrected in 1999 as the home of the Adelaide 500 Supercars event. The Adelaide 500 was cancelled by the South Australian government last October, and the circuit last held supercars in March 2020. If elected in March, opposition leader Peter Malinakis promptly secured a deal with supercars to bring the event back. However, that strategy has already been affected by the sale of circuit infrastructure that would be further hampered if the circuit removal plan is implemented. Let's hope the city can keep the track, as it's a great race to watch and one the fans really enjoy attending. Alonso sorry for the Schumacher F1 clash. Fernando Alonso accepted a 5-second time penalty after colliding with Mick Schumacher on the second lap of the Formula One Turkish Grand Prix. Alonso started 6th for Alpine at Istanbul Park, only to be spun by Pierre Gasly at turn 1 and slip down the order in the wet conditions. In an attempt to gain ground, Alonso attempted to pass Schumacher down the inside at turn 4 on the following lap, only to collide with the Haas driver and send him spinning. After being deemed predominantly to blame for the incident, Alonso received a 5-second time penalty, which he served when pitting for immediate tires. In addition, he received 2 penalty points on his FIA super license. Alonso would eventually finish 16th, while Schumacher finished 19th, ahead of Haas teammate Nikita Mazepin. I thought I was alongside him, but obviously it was a late move, so we touched each other, Alonso said when asked by motorsport.com about the clash after the race. Unfortunately, he had the spin and I got the penalty. I take it, of course. Sorry I've collided with him. After the race, Schumacher dismissed the event, saying these things happen. Schumacher stated, especially in those kinds of corners where you have a long corner in front and then you prepare for turn 4, it's really easy to just try a dive bomb, but unfortunately this time it didn't work. We learn and we'll move on. And there you have it, some of the latest and greatest news in Formula One at the moment. After a huge Grand Prix race in Turkey recently, we're left with much to talk about, like Hamilton's spew after his placing and Alonso's clash with another driver. Let us know your thoughts below in the comments. Was Hamilton overreacting, or was he fair in having a reaction like that? We hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching.